Greetings YouTube, it's your buddy Chop It On coming at you with another episode of DFS Diary brought to you by the one, the only DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy sports from MMA to PGA to NFL. All of it is included for one low price in your subscription. Head down to the comments section. The coupon code is in there. Coupon code has changed, by the way, DFSArmy.com. Coupon code New Year for this week only. New Year unlocks a 20% discount off your first month of the DFS Army. So you unlock all of the content, tools, and coaching that is making people better DFS players on a daily basis. You see our hats on the leaderboards. You see us dominating every single sport that we have available, from large slates to small slates, everything in between. DFSArmy.com is the place to go to unlock the secrets to your own game. I've got announcements coming here. You can see the breaking news update channel here that I'm going to be explaining here in just a second. But I thank you very much for hitting the likes, hitting the subscribes, retweeting me out on Twitter, helping me grow this channel, because I am, as part of February sweeps with the retweets, I am giving away another membership to DFSArmy.com. If I can get more people becoming VIPs, I will give away 2, I will give away 3, I will give away as many as it takes, as long as people keep piling in the door. So I really, really appreciate the support. Let's talk a little bit about announcements, and then let's get into a couple of the tools for today for the NBA slate January 7th. The rise and grind that you see right here, the breaking news update, is a new channel inside DFSArmy.com that our members, both light and VIP, have access to. You come right down here to the breaking news feed, and you will get all of the breaking news that we have in our Slack channels going forward. You will see who is out, who is questionable, what the impacts might be, and that's just a way for you to follow along throughout the day and hopefully get to understand what some of these numbers are going to mean, and going forward how you're going to get to relate that injury news to building your lineups. You can see Dabbing Puggles, our news coach today, and he's been slamming it with all of the available news. That's number one. Number two, when we go inside, what we're going to work on next is we're going to open up Boomer's Bombers. Or Boomer's Ballers. You haven't seen him today because he's not working the slate. But if you've seen his sheet, that one is located right here under the NBA tab as well. Where's Boomer's Ballers? There we go, Boomer's Ballers. We're going to turn that into a coaching sheet, an all coaching sheet. You're going to be able to open up this first page, and you're going to see Boomer's Ballers and Keg's picks and Puggles, everybody, every coach that's working today. You'll be able to come down here and hopefully tab over, and you're going to see green lights and red lights for who's coaching today and whose picks are going to be current today. And you're going to be able to click through the page. You're going to be able to compare core pools, GPP pools, cash pools of all of our experts, sort of a consensus of the experts' picks going forward. Again, that's going to be eligible to both light members and VIPs in general. Now, the difference between the light membership and the VIP membership, the light membership is only tools, and I still think you're missing the largest value that we have to offer, and that's the interaction with the coaches. You've got no answers for your Qs. You've got no As for your Qs when you're only a light member. You do get access to the tools. You can play with the optimizer and all that stuff, but if you have a question and you wonder, how am I going to download CSV files? How am I going to do that? But you can't really get that answer because you've got no interaction. Where the real rubber meets the road, where people are really improving their games, is in our VIP program, where they're inside our coaching channels, repeatedly getting the feedback from the coaches about lineup construction and game theory and GPP versus cash building and contest selection and bankroll management and all those things that go into making a winning player make those positive EV decisions, as you've heard me talk about lately, on a daily basis and improve their game. So that will never be replaced. No other site is as responsive as we are. No other site is interactive as we are, and that's our true niche and our true value to you as a DFS player. So anyway, jump in here. We're working on a couple of these pages. We've got some of these things that are coming out here very, very, very soon, very, very shortly. And I want to also quickly explain, before we dive into the research station today, I want to quickly explain what we've got coming up this week in DFSArmy.com. You'll notice the coupon code has changed down there in the comments section. New Year is now for the week, a 20% off your first month coupon code. Really appreciate everybody jumping on board. Again, help me with February sweeps, because that's what's going to propel us forward. Number two, we're going to be giving away swag contests once a week. We're going to open these contests up on Friday, and we're going to be giving the winner swag. Going to be like a $1 GPP, and alternate between Fanduel, DraftKings, whatnot. And we're going to be giving away a little bit of money to second, third, and fourth place, but we're really going to be giving away swag. $50 swag bags, hats, t-shirts, whatever little goodies are inside that bag to the winner. Of course, we've been getting a lot of comments from our VIPs, hey, I'd like to be able to buy it. Well, we're not selling it, so you got to win it. And that's what we're going to start doing, is opening up once a week contests for that. And also, indefinitely, we're going to be reinstating Freebie Friday. Freebie Friday opens up all of these tools for you to play with and use and see how you like the layout of the contest, the selection of the statistics. That's the word I'm looking for. Play with the optimizer and whatever. Well, we're not going to unlock the optimizer on Freebie Friday. I misspoke there. But you're going to be able to at least sort through the research station, pick and choose some of the tools that you want to play with, and get access to the Boomers Ballers list, the coaching picks, and the breaking news channel, etc., etc., etc. And that's the backbone of what we do, kind of the foundation of what we do. But again, what we really do is the coaching within, and that's obviously not ever going to be unlocked because it's just too valuable. So again, if you're contemplating it all, you're sitting on the fence, you need to run down there into that comment section, click that link, use coupon code NEWYEAR, knock 20% off your first month, and come in and try us out. There's really no commitment to anything that you have. You're not really even taking that much of a risk. If you've joined other sites, you're going to find that we're different. You're going to find we are more responsive and more interactive in here in our coaching forums. That's what we do. So diving into the NBA system here and the and one system, I'm going to combine two things. I'm going to combine the and one approach, a little bit of the value approach, with the sim model. I'll explain it when I get to it. Let's write down our initial player pool from the and one rating system, sorting by descending order, these and one numbers that give us, and you can see, again, you can check the overall depth of the matchups of the slate. We can see initially point guard looks like a relatively weak position tonight. Doesn't mean some of these guys down here won't smash. It just means the odds are a little bit lower. We should see that bear out to a certain degree in the sim model when we open that bad boy up. Lillard, Irving, Conley, DJ Augustine is a surprise in there at 4th overall with the strong matchup. And, of course, a strong value rating for the slate tonight. Bledsoe, Reggie Jackson also. Interesting picks. Normally a couple of GPP type of picks are sliding in there with some big value tonight. So there's obviously something going on in the matchup there that our and one system is picking up on that you might want to dig into, pay a little bit of attention to. Those are your point guards. Our shooting guards tonight. So I scroll over here, take a look. James Harden, DeRozan, CJ McCollum, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Fournier, maybe Justin Holiday. I scroll over here because I like to stick to the top 5, but look how deep this position just got. If we go down to double digits only, we got to go down another 5 people. We just doubled our list. Justin Holiday, Doncic, Hield, whatever, however you pronounce his name. Tim Hardaway Jr., Terrence Ross, of all people, has a great matchup again tonight. These stronger matchups are telling me the position overall is pretty deep, so I may want to employ a little positional scarcity tactic, and I might want to pay down. I'm not saying that I want to get off of James Harden, but I may want to pay down a little bit, take some of the value out of here, because if the matchups are pretty strong and some of the value is there, Evan Fournier at 5,500, he usually hits that sim model pretty hard, so I'll make sure I try and show you his name when we get into it. 47, 46, 49 down here. Bogdanovich is awfully low on the matchup list, although he's popping pretty high on the value chart. So he's another one you may include. Again, we don't want to be too rigid with what we're doing here. We want to be open-minded. We're using these as loose parameters to sort of get an idea. And as a player hits more of these lists, more of these check marks that we're looking through, he becomes a stronger and stronger play. But that doesn't mean that one of these guys down here might not have a great matchup, be ready to surprise some people. Something like a DVP matchup, Garrett Temple of some kind, might be something worth looking at. Probably not tonight with a 3.9x value. Actually, that's D'Angelo Russell. Garrett Temple is a 4.5, so maybe you do dig into him a little bit. Small forward, Giannis, I skip over the NA guys when they pop in there. So Giannis, Harrison Barnes, Gordon Hayward, Jonathan Isaac of all people again. Kyle Anderson, usually pretty cash-safe play. Rudy Gay, Mo Harkless. I'm getting down in here into the deeper stuff, and it's disappearing off the and one scale. So again, a relatively shallow position. Positional scarcity suggests that when we get a relatively shallow position like this, we're going to tend to pay up. So maybe Giannis is a little bit more important tonight, and maybe you can afford to take him over James Harden tonight, and I have a feeling that would be a little bit contrarian given the way things have been the past couple of weeks, but it may be something that you look into, being that you get a giant edge perhaps over the rest of the players that are taking these cheaper picks when you went ahead and paid up at a short position tonight. Power forward, Anthony Davis, another stud on the slate tonight. Decent and one rating. I've seen him up at 25, 26 before, so it's probably not a massive matchup for him, but it's still pretty strong, and he's obviously a good player, so he's worth considering. Aaron Gordon, Blake Griffin, Aminu, LaMarcus Aldridge are the ones that are rounding this one out. Then a big drop down to Jason Tatum, Derek Favors, Jaren Jackson, etc. So I would stick to these guys, a relatively shallow position. Again, you may be looking to pay up somewhere around Blake Griffin, Aaron Gordon, Anthony Davis, LaMarcus Aldridge, whatever. And you've got Aminu in here for a little bit of salary relief, but I'd like to see this value metric be a little bit higher for him. I also would like to see him be a little bit cheaper as compared to Fanduel than DraftKings if I'm looking at DraftKings or if I'm looking at Fanduel. And I can see better. I can find better down here with a Jason Tatum. You know, Marcus Morris is such a this is a sticky situation. You're going to have to rely on your coaches for that type of stuff. When we kick into the center spot, we're looking at Vucevic, Nurkic, Jokic. This is like the Poison Ivy crowd up top, the Itch brothers, right? Vucevic, Nurkic, Jokic, whatever, man. Drummond, Horford, Capella, a little bit of Marc Gasol. Look how deep this position just got. All the way down. Gasol, Mo Bamba, DeAndre Jordan. I don't know about Rudy Gobert, but so what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 centers to choose from. Watch this. All these salaries are way up here. And then Bamba and Horford are down low. You want to throw the construction off tonight and get a little bit unique? You go looking at an Al Horford set for 5.3x value. Al Horford never gets used. That dude's ownership is always pretty low. Or you look down here at, what is that? That's DeAndre Jordan. I was looking at Mo Bamba for dirt cheap as a drop score candidate at the center spot. All these guys are up here. Now, some of these guys are going to pan out, some of these guys aren't. But if you end up with Mo Bamba as your center, if you're willing to take that risk, you've got a completely different lineup construction than everybody else in the country. And that's how you win GPPs, when it all breaks your way. So consider. I'm not saying do it. I'm not saying lock them in. I'm saying consider the idea of if your build starts getting a little bit chalky the other way, you might go ahead and take a lineup, throw that one in there, and see how different it gets, whether you're using an optimizer or whether you're hand building. You'll notice that you can all of a sudden afford to pay up where everybody else is having to pay down because they took a big center. So that's just another way to do things. That's roughly your and one player pool. I wrote those names down, and what I want to do now is I want to jump into this sim model. What is the sim model? You've heard me mention it a time or two. The sim model is absolutely breaking down this slate and running it through a game simulator 5,000 times. Why 5,000? Because you get rid of a lot of the outliers that could happen. If I only ran it 100 times, I might get 7 weird outlier performances because it's still a little bit random. As I've mentioned with the EV calculator stuff, the longer the sample size, the more things stabilize. The more volume you take in head-to-heads, the more your score will stabilize. The more you will achieve the true strength of your lineup. You know, if you only run 1 or 2 head-to-heads and you run up against 1 or 2 guys having lucky nights, you can have a great score and still lose. But if you take out 50, 100, 200, 500, 1,000 head-to-heads, now you've really smoothed out your variance. And if your lineup sucks, it's going to suck. But if your lineup was great, it's going to be great across all of that volume. And that's what you're looking to do. It's a lower variance approach by using volume and letting the math and the long run play out. So when we run these simulator projections, we're cranking them through the matchups and some of the other things that go into play with creating projections. And we're seeing, watch, you're going to notice Vucevic at 63. My God, that's an awful lot. I come back here to the center spot. Vucevic here is 45. So this is a very, very aggressive projection coming out of here across 5,000 samples projected at 62. Do not take my word for gospel on that one, because that is way high. Now, he could do it, but I would consider that a ceiling performance. I would click into his game logs and see how often he's touched 60 and try and figure out why the hell he thinks he's doing it tonight. Probably the matchup with Sacramento. However, if he's not done it all year, don't expect it to happen tonight. I don't care if this thing says it's 90% chance of hitting 5x. I wouldn't trust that. But looking at the pure numbers, and so you're always going to have to use a little bit of your head to interpret these things. But looking at the pure numbers, running the slate 5,000 times, the matchup was so strong for Nikola Vucevic that he came out at 5x 90% of the time. That's huge. Huge. Now, 60% of the time he hits 6x. 6x, it's nearly 60 points, just like this is projecting. So there is a high likelihood. I wouldn't put it at 90%, but there's a high likelihood that he has a 5x or a 6x night tonight. And I look down here at Shabazz Napier. I don't know why as a drop score candidate, but you've got yourself a 90% chance it's 5x, 80% chance at 6x. That's good value for a drop score. Bertrand's as well. When you run these slates through these matchups and the minutes that they're projected to receive are really kind of cranking them off. Now if they hit the real low outlier side, you're going to end up with a really, really bad score, and that's fine. But what you're trying to do is hit this most of the time. Max score 57 for Shabazz Napier. I don't see that happening. It's clearly a 1 in 5,000 outlier. 96 points for Vucevic. I might do a backflip, tonight if he ends up at 96 points. But it shows you the minimum, it shows you the maximum based on these parameters right here, and then gives you kind of an overall. And what we're looking for here is we're going to use the computer to help us deliver decent results. So I'm looking through all of these players and I'm looking at who is most likely to return value, and I can definitely do that. But I also want to use it in conjunction with the and one rating system and what I know about these games. So again, I'm going to assemble a little bit of a player list, and I'm going to see the centers, and I'm going to see the point guards and the power forwards and whatnot, and see who is up here at the top, ready to run 5x and 6x value at high frequency. Okay, so I'm going to put those guys on my list. And automatically, I see LaMarcus Aldridge and Al Horford. Those are names that are a little bit more trustworthy than a Vucevic at 9,700 or a Napier at 3,900. These are a little bit more likely. I come over here as a 50-50 shot that Al Horford hits 6x tonight, and that's 36-ish points. Okay, you can see he's still on the high side here at 37 out of a projection, and that's why when you go back over to our research station or the domination station optimizer tonight, you're going to find that he's got a lower projection than that, because we're going to knock the lid off of those a little bit. But what our VIPs get access to is the actual tool that shows you how aggressive you can dial it up to. If you really, really want to play the matchups out there and try to predict some tourney winning lineups, this is a great tool for that. You can still hit some cash game type stuff, but if you really want to hit the tourney stuff, you focus on that 6x column and you let it go to work. You can see the ADVP above a 1 is good because 1 is average for the league. You can see who's got good matchups, who's got bad matchups. You can also sort by, of course, DraftKings and Fanduel tab by tab. And so if I want to look at just the point guards, I can see over here that the bigger 5x numbers, look, it did sort out. How about that? Sometimes it doesn't always sort out for me, but I got 77% for Darren Fox. DJ Augustine, again, I pointed him out in the and one. I didn't point out Fox, so Fox he's not quite hitting the radar multiple times, but he is hitting it. I've got DJ Augustine at 5,000, 76%, 47% hit 6x. I'm going to be looking strongly at DJ Augustine tonight and see why he's hitting the numbers like he's hitting in this model and in the and one rating system over in the research station. Then I look down here, Dinwiddie, Moody, Forbes, whatever, Derek White, Kyrie Irving down here, 43 points, feels a little bit high on his comeback. Only 44% chance, though, so it's telling me he might be a little bit volatile. I might save him for more of a GPP type pick instead of cash games. For cash games, I do want the guys that are scheduled to run pretty consistent, especially if they appear on my and one list and this list. So when I go through the shooting guards, then once again, I can see Donovan Mitchell. Was he on my list? He was on my list. He was 4th on my and one list. He's number 1 here, 76% chance at 5x. Solid cash game play tonight. Don't know about Kyle Korver, drop score candidate, obviously. DeMar DeRozan, next best, 70%. Bellinelli, James Harden, 63% to take. The 98% to hit 4x. 4x, 12-9 is what, 50 points? That is a damn near lock of 50 points. For your cash games, you might just buy the 50 points and lock them in because you've got upside to 65, 70 points. That's what Harden gives you. Bogdan Bogdanovic, 6,600, 33 points. That's another 5x guy. He's only hitting it a little more than half the time. Doesn't have the upside. If you're looking for tournaments, you're going to want somebody that also brings in the upside. Somebody up here, Donovan Mitchell, 30% Bellinelli, DeRozan, whatever. I just don't trust Kyle Korver, but I'd be off of, I wouldn't say 9% for Harden because we know he can go off, but I'd be off of the 14% for some of these other guys. Luka Doncic is another one, 14% at 6x, but 54%, so a little over half. This is a decent, if you've got a little bit of money, you're debating between the two. There's theoretically one and the same, but you're buying more raw points with Doncic. When I head down into the small forwards and tip through them just a little bit, Bertrand's drop score candidate. Harrison Barnes, Kyle Anderson up here again. We mentioned Kyle Anderson on the list. He was just off of the top 4 or 5 for small forwards. Giannis Barnes was up there. Harrison Barnes at what looks like a 60% chance to make 5x. 90% chance he doesn't necessarily dud on you. Might be a decent cash game play, especially given that there's a big drop off here for his upside at 6x. There's a little bit better upside here in a Kyle Anderson or a Gordon Hayward type than there is in the Harrison Barnes type. Bear that in mind. You're also looking at Giannis Antetokounmpo down here. Only a 47% chance to hit 5x tonight. So his matchup is not quite as strong. When we ran this through the simulator multiple times, his matchup didn't prove quite as strong for whatever reason. So again, it bears looking into. You may opt against it to go with Giannis because, like I mentioned, positional scarcity and some other things. But looking at the simulator, he didn't necessarily have a great night. Power forward, Marcus Aldridge, Kenneth Reed, Vonleh, Favors, Davis, Aminu. Aminu was on the list. LaMarcus was on the list. LaMarcus kind of gets the circle here, being that he had a decent and 1 score, and he's an 80% 5x player. So cash game type player. And you should already know that anyway if you follow the Spurs. Derek Favor, Aminu, 60%. See how quickly it drops off? Now, these guys are not always going to be correct because, like I mentioned before, 90% here, 80% here, 70% here, whatever. Those are great, great, great odds. But they are still 10%, 20%, 30% outlier chances that he's not going to hit that number. You catch one of those nights tonight with multiple players, your night is sunk, even though you made the right decisions. Knox Anthony Davis down here, 55% to hit 5x. That would be great. And there's not a lot of upside down in here in some of these guys. Your upside's up here in these guys. And, of course, your drop score candidates in case they get really lucky. I do not see Kenneth Faried getting 61 points tonight. So definitely a goofy outlier performance. Centers, there's the Vooch again. Unbelievable numbers for him tonight. Horford would be a decent pivot. It's a cheaper pivot. At 80%, still a solid chance to hit the 70-80% 5x that you want. Bamba's up on that list. Jordan's up on that list. And here comes another itch brother with Nurkic. Where's Jokic? There he is down here at 10-4, 40% chance to hit the 50. And he needs a hit. That's interesting. But this is how you're going to walk through these slates. You're going to combine these lists. You're going to start kind of formulating who you like, the rationale behind why, and then you're going to go into the coaching forums and you're going to be either asking questions, hey, I see this, what does this mean to you? Or you're going to be assembling your lineup and you're going to be saying, I'm thinking about this, but this feels chalky. Should I pivot here or should I pivot there? Those are the types of conversations we love helping people decide. And then on top of that, you're going to be getting coaches' notes, breaking news, and things that are going to change the slate as we near a lock that are going to then give you the opportunity to make the right swaps with the right information. Some of this may be trash by the end of the night. If the right guy gets pulled or the right guy starts in his place, some of these numbers may really, really drop off. This sim model will change one more time today towards, a lot closer to lock, probably an hour, hour and a half from now. And then, of course, our coaches are always studying the news and are always updating the usage numbers and the minutes and whatever else are going into your NBA lineup. So you're going to want to keep yourself fluid, but you can start getting a core list built tonight. Like I will tell you right now, I like DJ Augustine. I like Luka Doncic. I like Bogdan Bogdanovic. I like those guys. Now, it doesn't mean I don't like Donovan Mitchell. I do. And I'll look at Fournier here in a minute. Small forward, Kyle Anderson. Power forward, LaMarcus Aldridge. Center, I do like Horford. Those, if I had one of those guys locked into each position, let the optimizer fill out the rest for me based on our projections, I might have a mix of a little bit of aggression and a little bit of cash safe. That might be what I need to build a nice hybrid lineup that does damage in 10 and 20 man leagues. Those are the types of things that I do and types of things that I coach people on, is using our tools to construct lineups that fit your style. Maybe you're a cash-only player. Maybe you're a GPP-only player. It doesn't matter. I can help you, and if I can't help you, I can tell you who can. That's the value we provide inside DFSArmy.com. Shooting guard. Before I run out here, because I almost forgot again. Where is our buddy Fournier? Down here. Did not look good this week. Ooh-wee. Didn't look good on this run. Usually he's one of our guys that has good 5x and good 6x numbers. Not tonight. So I guess that runs that one out of there, right? Either way, hopefully you've got some stuff to chew on, some stuff to bite on. start making a little bit of a list, start building some winning NBA lineups tonight. If you do well, do me the favor. If you do well, show me your lineup out on Twitter. Tag me in it. Throw the, hey, Chapadong, I saw your video and it helped me out. I love that type of stuff, that type of feedback. And I love knowing who is in there and who is helping me grow my own community, helping me grow the brand of DFSArmy.com, and who are the loyal members and subscribers inside DFS Army. So hit me up out on Twitter. Show me those winning lineups. I love tweeting and retweeting those things for you guys. And we all throw a big old party when everybody wins. So anyway, this is Chapadong. It's been DFS Diary for January 7th. Did a little NBA. Threw you a bunch of announcements. And then, of course, gave you a little bit of the projections inside the and1 rating system and the sim model, which is a neat little toy that we've been using a lot inside DFSArmy.com. You get a couple of sneak peeks of that. This should be open to you on Friday as part of Freebie Friday as well. So jump in here, become a member, use that 20% off coupon code, get into the tournament, the swag tourney at the end, and unlock all of these tools for yourself by using that code New Year down there in the comment section. And while you're down there, hit the like and subscribe button, ring that little notification bell so you know the next time I drop a video. Take care, guys. We will talk to you hopefully tomorrow.